So, ছাত্ৰ-ছাত্ৰীসকল, মই দ্য ফল অফ দ্য সোভিয়েট ইউনিয়নৰ পাৰ্ট 2 লৈ তোমালোকৰ সন্মুখলৈ আহিছোঁ। এই পাৰ্ট 2ত আমি ইতিমধ্যে পাৰ্ট 1ত সোভিয়েট ৰাছিয়াৰ ৰিজনছ ফলৰ যিখিনি ৰিজনছ আছিলে সেইখিনি বিষয়ে আলোচনা কৰিছোঁ। In the first video, we have discussed about the fall of Soviet Union, reasons of the fall of Soviet Union. In the second part, we will discuss some more reasons, some more factors that led to the fall of Soviet Russia. We will discuss about it, and its consequence. We'll also discuss about the consequences of the fall of Soviet Union. ইতিমধ্যে আমি যিখিনি কিছুমান কাৰণ ডিছকাছ কৰিছোঁ, we have already discussed some reasons for the fall of Soviet Russia in the first video. We'll discuss about some more reasons which are being responsible for the fall of Soviet or disintegration of Soviet Russia. The next is August coup. In August 1991, hardline communists took over the government, last-ditch effort to save USSR. What happened in 1991? The hardline communists, those were hardliner of Communist Party, took over the government, and they tried to save the Soviet Union for the last time. After that, the other reason is that country went into an uproar. Massive protests were being done by the various communities who were not who did not want to be the part of USSR. So these communities protested in a massive way, and they made the entire law and order issue, and this is one of the reason. And next is the soldiers themselves rebelled, cannot fire on our countrymen. When the government ordered to suppress those massive protests, the military personnel or the military setup of USSR replied to the government that they didn't want to fire on the countrymen. So the inaction from the military personnel had also created problem for the government, because they didn't want to control the protest with all forces. And the coup continued for 3 days, and then after 3 days the coup had collapsed. What were the results of August coup? Gorbachev was unable to re-establish real control. The first consequence or the first result of August coup was that Gorbachev failed to re-establish his control over the government or control over the country. Negotiated the transition of power made inevitable by the people, by the will of people. People wanted to people wanted transition of power. So according to the wishes of people, negotiations were being initiated. On December 1st, 1991, all non-Russian republics declared independence. I had already enumerated before you that non-Russian people were not interested to stay with Russian people or the Soviet Russia. So in 1991, on the 1st August, those regions or those republics who were with USSR, where the non-Russian people were in majority, so those republics were declared independent. Next consequence was political movements which had emerged since the implementation of glasnost resulted immediate fall. So these were major results of August coup. Next, it comes the collapse of the Soviet Union. A new entity was formed, which is being called Republic of Independent Commonwealth of Independent Republics. This is the new entity formed after the August coup. Russia and 15 independent former USSR countries out of Russia, erstwhile USSR, including Russia, there were other 15 republics made independent. Complete political independence linked to other Commonwealth countries by economic and military ties. Soviet Union, which its centralized political and economic system has ceased to exist. Earlier, we have seen that in Soviet Union there was the political and economic setup was in centralized form, but after the disintegration of USSR, this setup ceased to exist. So these were the these were the things happened in the month of December 1991. So in this case, what was the role of America? Because America was major factor for disintegration of USSR. Here, how America influenced the entire process. Let's look at. Russia built up a military arsenal suppressing the United States in competition with America, United States. Russia built up a military arsenal. This was actually backfired. Enormous military expenses in combination with collectivized agricultural and inefficient manufacturing were heavy burden on the economy. In economic front, what happened? Due to the enormous amount of money, spent for military expense, and along with that, collectivized agricultural and inefficient manufacturing became the burden of Russian economy. Reagan administration persuaded Saudi Arabia to increase oil production. Earlier, countries were imported oil from Soviet Russia, but during that period, the Reagan administration, American President Ronald Reagan administration persuaded Soviet Russia to increase oil production so that the countries can buy crude oil from Saudi Arabia instead of Soviet Russia. That created a massive downfall of economy of Russia. As a result, in a 3 times drop of oil prices in 1985, oil was the main source of Soviet export revenues. So I told you that Soviet Russia was one of the major oil export country at that time, but Ronald Reagan's administration's initiative to persuade Saudi Arabia to increase oil production created massive downtrend of Russian economy, because oil was the major Russia received major export revenues from crude oil only. So what did the President Reagan did at that time? Recognize the change in the direction of Soviet leadership. Reagan administration accepted the changing approach of Soviet leadership, shifted to diplomacy to pursue substantial arms agreement. America changed its diplomatic stance, and with USSR, and started arms agreements with Russia. Four summit conference between 85 to 88 were held between Russian Supremo and the presidents of USA. And Ronald Reagan could persuade the Soviets to allow more diplomacy, more democracy and free speech. This would lead to reform and end of communism. In other initiative Reagan took during that period was that they persuade Russian leadership to expand democratic system and free speech of people. This is one of the major reason which led to the end of communism in Russia. So another important event happened during that period was the fall of Berlin Wall. In June 12, 1987, Reagan challenged Gorbachev. The General Secretary Gorbachev, if you seek peace, if you seek prosperity of Soviet Union and Eastern Europe, if you seek liberalization, come here to this gate. Mr. Gorbachev opened this gate. Mr. Gorbachev tear down this wall. This is what people appeal to the leadership of Soviet Russia, and Soviet Russia was being forced to take initiative to tear down or to break down the Berlin Wall. So in this event, in the responses of West come in different way. First, victory for freedom. Second, triumph of democracy over totalitarianism. These were the consequences of the breakdown of Russia. Superiority of capitalism over socialism. This is one of the major reasons for which Cold War took place. Rejoicing formidable enemy was brought to its knee. Actually, America was able to defeat its long-standing enemy, which was USSR. The end of Cold War, which had hovered over the two superpowers. This led to the end of Cold War, also between Russia and America. So, fatal consequences of the fall of Soviet Russia were transform the entire world political situation, reformulation of political and economic military alliances, America's sole military and world hegemonic power. America becomes sole military and world hegemonic power, and end of Cold War. This led to the end of Cold War and threat. It means mass atomic destruction threat had also came down substantially. So these were the consequences of the fall of Soviet Russia. I hope students you will understand what I am talking, and if you have any query, please write down in the comment section of my YouTube channel. So if anything to discuss more, you let me know. I will make another videos on those queries. In the next video, I will take up a new topic of your courses. Thank you.